Welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the Third. Last time, we did this star door, fought some enemies, and learned more about orbments, and, how do they work, I guess. This time, I may as well keep Tita with me for a little bit, because we're gonna get into the Luminous Midpoint. And we're gonna go back to, after healing, that central part, and get that Sealing Stone. And oh boy, this is a moment that I've really been looking forward to. So, this game has a lot of brokenly fun characters. That was kind of creepy seeing your shadow show up before you did. So we have Orbital Gear Tita, we have Annalise, we have Crimson Eye Casters, and you know, all that fun stuff. We only have 2 more party members to go. They are both found in Chapter 5. Both of these party members are intentionally overpowered. And they are incredibly fun to use. Like, you have no idea. But first, this thing right here. If you are going for a no fleeing run, you want to save before fighting this thing. This thing is incredibly strong and is practically a boss. They do have good item drops, but their drops are the same as the Poltergeist, so it's honestly like, you don't really need, like, to fight them. But yeah, the Archdevil. Dream Devil that slowly corrupts people. Its attacks are deadly, but beating it may pay off. They do give a solid amount of experience. So that's one thing they have going for them, and again, like, they do have some pretty good drops, but at the same time, they are also probably more hassle than they're really worth to fight, especially on Nightmare. Like, again, if you're going for a no fleeing run, and you're playing on Nightmare mode, I seriously recommend that you save before you fight these things. And wow, okay, Chloe getting that crit turn there is super lucky. I don't want to push her out of it. Let's try charging you. Well, at least you can knock them back. Which is a small luxury. I'll go into the monster book and show this thing's stats after I beat it, because its stats are ludicrously high. Like, they're basically high. I think it has about as much strength as Rostrum did back in Chapter 2. And that thing has, like, the most strength of any enemy in the game for ages. It's a completely insane boss as far as, like, how strong it is. Meh, I guess I can just vanish you from existence with bullets. Yes, I vanished you from existence, and then you actually died. Am I gonna actually beat this thing without it getting a chance to do anything? Maybe not. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I kind of want to show it attacking at least once, because I want to show what I'm just so scared of. It's probably gonna die. It's probably gonna die before we get to it. Let's see, yeah, Chloe will probably do that much damage, we'll see, but yeah. Dark Matter. No, it's still going. Okay, I'm gonna intentionally let it get a hit on us. That thing just did 12,000 damage to Orbital Gear Tita. And it's a good thing that it hit Orbital Gear Tita, because anyone else, that would have been most of their health. Like, Tita has a 1.2 multiplier on her defense stat, and she took that much damage. I kind of want to show how much damage it does to people who aren't Tita, but I think that already just showed it. But again, it does give very good experience, so it's like, this game has some interesting metal slime enemies. You at first had the slime lumps, which were good not so much for their experience gain, but more for the items they dropped and the secret they give. And then you have this thing, which gives a lot of experience, but it's also incredibly powerful and quite a tough threat to fight and basically a boss. So, yeah, here we go, Archdevil. 5,000 strength, 90 speed. Yeah, it's actually better than Rostrum. It's stronger than the boss of the last chapter. It is stronger considerably than Doppel-Agate. Yeah, the only thing preventing it from being an optional boss is that its HP is not, like, super high by boss standards, but... Anyway, we're gonna take this now. But future Archdevils will have this on our side. Another stone? Wow, that thing sure is pretty. Is it some kind of septium? No, it's what's known as a sealing stone. You were inside one just like this when we found you. I was? Are we gonna find someone in this one too? Without a doubt. You wouldn't happen to have any inkling as to who it could be, would you? Let me think. It would be wonderful if it were your dad with how strong he is. Oh yeah, well... but that may be a little too much to hope for. Yeah, they even, they know in-universe just how broken Cassius is. Could Grandpa be inside? Well, it's true that he's busted us out of a jam plenty of times in the past. Wasn't he out of the country on vacation, though? Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, admittedly, Estelle and Joshua were as well, and they got pulled into things. Maybe not, then. It sounds as though there are a number of possibilities, and the fastest way to find out which one rings true is to take this back to the garden. Then let's go. It's kind of cool that, I might keep a save file from here, because it seems like different party members have different, speculations for who this is. But, let's not waste any time. Let's find out who it is. Unleash Sealing Stone. It's a shame that Kevin can't be around to do this, though. What? That looks like... It couldn't be. Could it? You've gotta be kidding me. Ugh, a stun grenade? Who goes there? Speak your name! What? I sure didn't see this coming. I presume you're familiar with this man. All I can tell by the uniform is that he's from the Royal Army. Yes, we certainly are. I'm not sure what is going on here. Estelle? Joshua? And is that you, Your Highness? Yes, it is. It's good to see you again, Richard. I feel the same. The pleasure is all mine, Your Highness. I'm delighted to see you well and in good health. There's no need to stare at the floor when you're talking to me, you know. How have you been? Thanks to Her Majesty's extraordinary kindness, I've been doing very well. I hope you'll forgive me for asking. I'm afraid I don't quite understand the situation I found myself in. Would it be any trouble to request a brief explanation of where we stand? It would probably be easier if I handled that. I don't believe we've met. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Rhys Argent, a squire affiliated with the Gralsritter. The Gralsritter? I see. It sounds as though the situation is even more abnormal than I thought. I suppose I should introduce myself as well. My name is Alan Richard. I was once a colonel in the Royal Army's Intelligence Division, as well as a traitor who attempted to instigate a coup d'etat. At present, however, I run a research agency, RNA Research. Thank you. I think I have a solid grasp now. I wish I knew what else to say. What do you mean? As in, you're having trouble believing all of what we just told you? Well, part of me feels that way, yes. But that's not really it. The greatest doubt in my mind is simply, why me? Huh? I look at everyone here and I see comrades who know how to fight alongside one another to turn even the darkest of odds in their favour. Whether this turn of events was the will of the goddess or someone else, I can't rightly say. But from where I'm standing, you've already formed the perfect team for overcoming the obstacles before you. I guess so. I sure as hell didn't want to work with her, though. I don't want a stupid rubbing off on me. Oh, you're gonna feel really stupid after I thwack your brains to mush. Not now, you two. If I may. I find it hard to understand how I, of all people, came to be here. Far from working together with all of you, I'm a criminal who threatened both your lives and the safety of the nation in which we thrive. I can't help but feel my being here is a mistake of some kind. Still... You have helped us before, though. Like during the attack on Grancel, remember? You came to everyone's aid then. Yeah, that could have gotten really bad if you and your men hadn't showed up when you did. They're right. Then there was the fact that you assumed responsibility for defending the city while all of us escorted Chloe to Haken Gate. Yeah, you might have done some bad stuff in the past, but you're underselling yourself by saying you've never helped us before. Be that as it may, my good man, it's not though you're the only one who's performed terrible deeds. To use the occasion Joshua mentioned, while you valiantly defended Grancel, I was at Haken Gate threatening Liberl's safety. And yet here I am, fighting alongside my friends without a care in the world. The best thing to do here, in my personal opinion, is relax. I'm not sure boasting about not having a care in the world is something you should be doing. I have a different perspective on those events, Your Highness. You were only threatening Liberl on the surface. You had no intention of actually doing anything. On the contrary, you were trying to protect it. The same can't be said for me. My conspiracy was of my own doing. Okay, but what about me? We were being used by you guys, yeah, but that doesn't change the fact we're a bunch of sky bandits who even hijacked an airship. But Her Majesty was gracious enough to give us another chance at life, and we're trying to make the most of it running our new company. I don't think our positions are all that different, honestly. Well, you might have done things you regret, but it's not the past that determines who you are, it's what you choose to do now. Exactly, and it'd be a huge help if we had someone as baller as you fight with us. Annalise! I forgot she said that! Of all things, wow. It's like the bra moment from Geofront all over again. So please, we could really use your help. Are you sure, Annalise? Huh? You guys know each other? How did that happen? Oh, I went to visit your dad for something a while back, so that's when we met. Then I got a broken sword and became the Destroyer of Worlds. Huh? Really? After all we've heard, I see no reason to refuse your company. If anything, we're eager to welcome you to our group with open arms, myself included. You could consider it aid given to the Gralsritter if that would make you less adverse to the idea. What do you say? Very well, you have my support. Woohoo! I'm glad you're with us. Thank you. I only hope I meet your expectations. Incidentally, there is one thing I would like to confirm first. What would that be? You said that you believe everyone to have been surrounded by that white light and sent here at roughly the same time. When that happened, were you all wearing the same clothes that you are now? What kind of question is that? Now that you mention it, how come you're wearing your military uniform? I was under the impression that you left the armed forces. That's right. Now the question makes sense. You were wearing something different when you were sent here, weren't you? I was. Currently, I work out of an office in Ruin City, and since beginning to work there, I had never once willingly worn my old uniform. When I was surrounded by that light, I was wearing a shirt and a pair of slacks as I normally do. And yet somehow, I find myself here in uniform. That's odd. It's not something that's happened to anyone else either. Oh, I have a thought. Perhaps the Lord of Phantasma decided the Colonel just wasn't sexy enough in anything else, and prepared that strapping uniform for him after bringing him here. I love this sequence so much. Yeah, I don't think so. So in addition to the billion other ways they're a weird freak, they've got a military uniform fetish too. I couldn't entirely blame them if they did though. Same. And even Chloe... I love the fact that Chloe also implicitly... Chloe of all people. I swear, girls these days has no idea what's going on. Oh, you're too innocent, Tina. Still, there's clearly got to be something to it. I get the feeling we're on the verge of a major breakthrough in working out how we ended up here. So do I. As well as what this place really is to begin with. Interesting. In that case, let's put the matter aside for now. Now that that's settled then, we should start getting ready to resume our investigation. Releasing Richard should hopefully have opened up a new path for us to follow. And so, we found out two things. One, the Lord of Phantasma apparently has a military uniform fetish. I still can't get over that conversation. That is one of my favorite, sequences of dialogue in this whole game. And 2, we have Richard. I'm going to put Annalise in the party too, because I want to just break everything. Richard is an intentionally overpowered party member. And this, remember when I said earlier that you maybe not having the Geno yet was one reason why we got a katana that's inferior to that, but still better than other katanas? Well, that's because it was actually for Richard. So let's give him that. So, on just his starting abilities, he has like 1,950 strength. That's without Tiger Heart or anything. He has pretty solid speed. His ATS is actually quite good too. Like, he's not a bad arts caster, and if you look at his orbment, he has most of his orbment as a single line, aside from one thing. He also has a restricted fire slot, which doesn't matter because you want to be running attack ports on him anyway. So, Richard is not only a good physical attacker, but he is actually a surprisingly good arts caster as well. The thing is, Richard is such a good physical attacker that you likely won't ever see him use arts, because his physical attacks are that good. And now, just looking at him here, you will not see why Richard is so good. You have to use him in battle to realize why. And for that reason, I'm going to be setting him up, I'm going to be equipping him with stuff, and then I am going to be going straight into battle, and then I'll be talking more about why Richard is so ridiculous. Okay, he has no level 3 slots, so I want to see if I can fix that. Because if there's anybody that you want level 3 slots on, it is Richard. I think I'll upgrade a couple of slots on Reese too, just to get that extra EP on her. Okay, so I've equipped Richard here with the Super Gladiator Headband as well as the Tiger Heart, because Richard's playstyle is very, very CP guzzling. It's kind of one of his only weaknesses. So I want to make sure that he gets as much CP as possible. In terms of his orbment, I've just basically just given him as much strength, speed, and movement as possible. Also have Haze. Physical to make him a bit more of a tank. If you want, like, I have like Clock Up EX and Clock Down. I wonder if I have room for an HP 4. That won't give me Clock Up EX though, which is actually a little bit of a problem. I can get him over 20,000 HP though. That plus physical could be kind of fun. I have Strike too, just to give him increased crits. I'm gonna give Annalise Haze, because this is kind of sad, but Annalise is gonna get a little bit overshadowed. But like, even without a ridiculous setup, like with all the best stuff on Richard, she still has 1,900 strength, which is crazy. Okay, I can't use the spring, but that means I'm gonna have to have Richard chug a whole bunch of ice cream, because I need CP on Richard. Okay, Richard has some CP now. Why are you dotting, Tita? Oh, is she asleep? Yeah, she was. She's been through more of this than any of the rest of us, apart from Kevin and Reese, so that makes sense. Yep. But anyway, Agate's here, so, I mean, you know, he's probably gonna get smacked in the head. So, some of this dialogue here, I'm wondering if it changes if, you've done certain doors. Because I feel like this wouldn't make much sense if you hadn't done Star Door 5 yet. Yeah, it isn't really. Plus, he was being slightly brainwashed at the time. I mean, he was doing everything of his own free will, but at the same time, he was also seeking the Aureole while having absolutely no idea what it was or where he learned about it. Yeah. See, that's the thing. As powerful as Richard is, Cassius is even better, and that's really saying something. Guess we can go ahead and check on Kevin again. What? Okay, then. I completely forgotten that conversation. You don't have anything to worry about there. Like, Joshua has absolutely no eyes for anybody except Estelle. But he is good at figuring things out. We can get a little bit of backstory here if we talk to these three. Ironically, that was kind of the exact thing that motivated Richard from starting his coup, was because Cassius was a great soldier and him leaving just crippled the army so badly. Yeah, you might have noticed from his earlier dialogue, he seems to be familiar with the Graalsritter and how they operate. It makes sense. I mean, it's kind of his job to know about those kind of things. We might be finding out a little bit more about what his company does in the future, but for now, I really should not keep you in suspense any longer. Let's go to the Luminous Midpoint and show what he can do. Who wants to be our first unwilling volunteer? Yep, we are now in the Umbral Labyrinth. They did call this chapter the Labyrinth of Light and Shadows. Which now just makes me think of Fire Emblem 12, which I still think is a pretty good game, actually. Like, more people should check that one out. A lot of people don't like it for introducing the Avatar system, which is kind of fitting since Richard is voiced by the Voice of Awakening's Avatar. David Vincent, that's the name. But, okay, speaking of Richard, here is why Richard is so ridiculous. It's not because of his stats or because of his orbment or anything like that. It is because that his crafts have incredibly low delay. You're not really seeing it that much here because we've got a preemptive strike, but if I get into another battle we don't, you'll definitely see just how insane this is. So, Richard's crafts all have ridiculously low cooldown. He can just spam crafts with absolute impunity. Like, look at this, look how quickly he gets his turning after using Luminous Divider. And this is also why I was saying before that Richard's, like, one weakness is that he is a very CP guzzling character. He does need to have a lot of CP to really be effective, because he'll lose this massive spamming ability without it. But while Richard has CP, he can just go completely ham on all of the enemies, just going spam, 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 spammity spam, with this. Didn't even hear his voice there, but yeah, that is Richard in a nutshell. Richard is the premier crafts spammer of this game, and it is just completely absurd just how many turns he can get in a row to just spam his attacks. On Nightmare, admittedly, this is a little bit less effective. It's still very, very good, though. Richard is bar none, like, one of the best party members in the game. Like, I don't know, like, Richard versus Tita or even Ginu Annalise, which is properly set up, I think it's, like, a little bit of a, like, it's I don't know, like, it's... There's debate over it. I'd hesitate to call Richard, like, one of the best characters in the game. Yeah, these things in particular are kind of stymieing him a little bit, because he is mostly a physical attack kind of guy, but at the same time, that Ruby Gem that I put on him means that he can use Cyclone Napalm, and the increased delay on Cyclone Napalm is a bit of an advantage, as it means that he doesn't end up on the guard turn. Yeah, going through this part of the dungeon without an arts caster might be a slight problem, but I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, these guys, they don't like any of the higher elements, actually. But, yeah, so Time, Space, Mirage, all of them are pretty effective. Is this gonna miss? Yep, it did. And, yeah, for those times when Richard, doesn't need his crafts, he can still cast pretty well. Oh yeah, and Annaleight's is severely underleveled too. That must be why her strength is looking so, you know, bad. And I mean bad by her standards, as in still better than Agate. Which is kind of crazy. Start a new game? Easy? Normal? Hard? Nightmare? Other nightmare. It's just kind of... I don't know why I find that so funny. It's just like, I can just imagine like the idea of a secret difficulty mode that's like even more ridiculous than Nightmare, which they actually did in Hajimari, aka Reverie. Yeah, they actually did that. They put in, not only did they put in a difficulty level higher than Nightmare, but they also put in the option to like increase enemy levels by 100 or by 50. And I've seen runs of certain Reverie bosses on Nightmare mode and with plus 100 levels. It's kind of crazy. Huh. That's kind of funny that I did 0 damage, but I still got Death Blow. Never really seen that happen before. I mean, Death Blow is completely independent of its damage, but still. 3 of 36. Perhaps the second gift will be unwelcome, and should it come to that, I would still dearly wish to be your friend. The days we've spent in the shop are and will always remain precious no matter the answer. I think I know what's going on there. Possibly, I don't know, some kind of either proposal or some kind of love confession. But, yeah, essentially, Richard is incredibly fun. Like, Richard is just one of those characters in games, like, it's like, I was talking about Tearing Saga earlier, he's kind of like Naren, in that he is incredibly broken, but also really fun. I should mention, though, Luminous Wheel does give a little bit more delay than some of his other attacks. Ha, Richard just got a rush turn. Richard is so good, he doesn't need rush turns. Richard is a living rush turn. You wait until we get to the boss of this plane, which is actually not that long off. This is a pretty short plane, but yeah, when we get to the boss of this plane, I'm gonna have so much fun just with Richard spam on everything. It's just so good. Richard is great. Richard is so good. One of my favorite, like one of the most fun party members that I've had using in any JRPG I've played. Oh, okay, I know where this is. Just trying to see... Yeah, because this area is a little bit more complicated, and this did run a little long when it came to Richard's introduction. I think I do want to go this way first, though, just because there's something around here that will be a warp point to earlier, when I've already kind of spoiled what it is. This is actually a really, really great warp point to get, though. I didn't quite get a preemptive on you, but it doesn't matter, because I have Richard, and Richard is a living preemptive strike. The other thing about Richard, like one slight weakness that Richard has is that, like Estelle, his S-Craft is only single target, but it's also incredibly strong, just like Estelle. The one that he starts with isn't that fantastic, but his second S-Craft that he learns eventually, yeah, oh boy, once we get to that S-Craft, that's gonna be really fun. That's a very unique S-Craft, let's just say. It's kind of a meme for a few reasons, but it's also a very strong attack. Oh yeah, and I have the Crimson Eye on Reese just because I want to, I kind of want at least one semi-caster here. Oh, she's still pretty invincible. But yeah, we're getting a lot of CP. This is why I said earlier that you don't really want to worry too much about upgrading slots until later. Though I did actually see a screenshot LP of this game that had Kevin with all level 3 slots by the end of chapter 4. Sorry, I've got a bit of a chesty cough. That, yes, that chest quote may have aged somewhat badly. But anyway, this is a new sun door. Choose left or to choose right, only the cards know what the future holds. If you wish to step inside, present the card that governs fates. Well, that's weird. Yeah, we'll be able to deal more with that later, but the reason why I said that that's a very important door to get is that you can warp back to that door and respawn the poltergeist. Okay, I am kind of glad that I went this way first, although it is a little bit weird because this is also a warp point that's very close, but the door is closer to the poltergeist slightly, so I think it's a better warp point when it comes to farming those item drops. Yeah, we have a barrier in the way here, so we can't progress until we go a little further. Now, can we get more quartz? Ah, yes, we can get sapphire gem now. I'm gonna want to grab that. We can get the emerald gem now. Oh, yeah, I don't like this at all. Minus 9% ATS is not good in exchange for arts defense. Wood gem is okay, though, because it does have a solid amount of extra elements on it, in addition to wind. Onyx gem, give now. The polar opposite of Onyx in Pokemon, who's pretty crap. But the Onyx gem, yeah, speed plus 50%, move minus 2, but that's generally fine, because casters don't care about move anyway. Also, Gold Gem. Gold Gem is very good too. Let me just grab that. I am very low on Seepith now. But, yeah, can anybody actually equip those right now? I can swap over cast to this slot. And then put Onyx Gem here. And then I can... No, I don't have a level 3 slot for that. But yeah, Gold Gem's pretty good. Does anyone here have a level 3 slot they could use for the Gold Gem? Not really. I'm sure Kevin does, but yeah, Kevin's currently indisposed. So yeah, we don't even have a warp point for Umbral entrance. So I'm going to have to kind of make my way back the long way. Umbral's a good word, I was just thinking. It's just, it kind of means shadow or sort of dark, but it's one of those words that I really like. Oh, hi there, you guys again. I might want to see who they can transform into this time. Reese teams up quite well with Richard because she can use Holy Blessing to keep him topped up on CP. And you are... Oh, I get it again. The other thing that I like about Richard is not only is he an incredibly fun party member, but he's also one of the best examples of a reformed villain that I've seen, not just in this game, but like in any piece of media. I know I don't have hands, but I want to hold yours. They probably weren't going for that creepy with that, but I decided to make it creepy. Well, I guess I'm going to have a lot of time to talk about how good of a character Richard is if I'm going to fight this thing. These are why you also want to have haze, because if you don't, and you let them get a preemptive, okay, I let this thing get the drop on me, that's not good, because it'll be going first, and I no longer have Teeter, and that's really bad, but anyway. I guess it's kind of simple to talk about why I think Richard is just such a good example of a reformed antagonist, and it's that, I wouldn't be surprised if you're immune to this. Yes, you're immune to delay, because of course you are. Oh, there's another guy behind you I didn't even notice. Who's also immune to delay. Okay, remember that Richard had the physical quartz, so that was half damage. Yeah, that's a thing in this game, but it's just basically the game doesn't really erase Richard's actions, and I love how Josette earlier was just talking about, hey, like, you know, if you think you don't deserve to be here, we Sky Bandits, we hijacked an airliner and kidnapped a lot of people, so, like, a lot of people in this party have done things they regret. Okay, so here's the thing about Richard, you generally don't want to be S-breaking with him because you want to be using his CP for his crafts, but I think this might be a good time to show this. I guess blood's okay when it's Richard. But that is actually the same S-craft that he had when we fought him as the big bad, essentially, of Sky FC. it just, okay, so I can't really talk too much about why I think Richard is such a good, I guess I can get the recipe for this in my log, such a good reformed villain, without really hinting at how I'm a little bit annoyed with the way that those characters were handled in later Trails games, I'll just say. 3 of 12. Oh my, Sato, is it really you? Sato was Hideko's senior in college, and belonged to the same club as her. Uh-oh, I've seen enough anime to know where this is going. Yeah, later games are a little bit, like, to kind of, like, you know, cut things sort of short without hugely spoiling things. The later games handle former villains joining you in an incredibly weird way, in that the story seems to just completely forget they were ever a villain to begin with, and they just kind of act like they were always a good guy. And it almost feels sometimes like even the characters themselves just forget they were ever villains. There's a certain character that I'm referring to in Trails of Cold Steel here. Not one you probably think, it's somebody else. Yeah, I don't know how to hint at this without spoiling it, but it's someone else. Like, the way they treat this character, it really feels like everybody just got amnesia and forgot they were ever a villain at any time. And some people say that, you know, oh, forgiveness has always been a theme of the Trails series. Well, the thing is that in Sky, you've got Joshua and Ren, but both of them were children who were kind of brainwashed by, essentially, a terrorist organization. So, in a way, a lot of what they kind of went through, like, yeah, they did a lot of horrible things, but, can you tell this treasure was outsourced? That's actually, oh, God, that's bringing up, other horrible tangents I could go on about this series, but, yeah, a lot of things I need to talk about right now, because that Destiny card that we just got, weirdly, that's actually the key to Sundoor 4. The final trump card, entrust your fate to this. It does give it some decent stats, but its main use is unlocking that door. But yeah, like, Joshua and Ren are both had a lot of circumstances and were kind of brainwashed. Well, actually brainwashed. Whereas Richard here, Richard actually acknowledges his former actions and never really makes any, like, he... Oh, I don't have petrification immunity on you, that's a problem. But yeah, like he never, like, he shows remorse for his past actions, basically. And this is why you save before you fight these things. Because this thing showing up in tandem with petrify enemies is actually really awful, and I need to kill them now with an S-break. Sorry, now is not the good time to go on a tangent talking about how the series handles reformation and forgiveness across its installments. That is really awful. That is really, really, really awful. Yeah. I need to, is there a better thing that I have that cures Petrify? I don't think so.
We're good to go.
I can at least give Annalise a crit turn here. How much health do you have left? This might be enough for True Piercing Wave to finish you. Nope! Okay. Well, at least you're going for, Estelle. Oh, that's... Okay, good, she resisted that. Okay, Richard doesn't have a turn coming up. I probably need to cure him, though. Because he has the physical quartz, and that makes him the most likely to survive here. Yep, Annalise is down. I suppose I can Celestial Balm Estelle? That was a good thing I Celestial Balmed her and not regular Reviving Balmed her. And now, you shall taste the fury of true Luminous Ogre Spam. Do I have, like, Thelos on you? I do. That's good, because it'll mean that you get the experience in this fight when Richard inevitably wins. And now, true Luminous Ogre Spam. No devil is a match for Richard. Aperion. backslash. That was my attempt at reading that out. I suppose I can move my discussion of the series and how it treats its reformed antagonist to maybe a little bit later, because yeah, like right now there's a bit too much for me to talk about at the moment. I think I do want to go a little further though. Moon Glasses Plus. This treasure chest was supposed to have a witty saying, but we drew a blue blanc. Instead, I can talk about that thing that I was thinking of when I saw that outsource thing. It just makes me think of Singer and, I was gonna kind of go on a big tangent about this at some point, but I don't really have that much time to at this point, because this part's already gone on kind of long. I'm just gonna sneak around you, because I only really care about the chests at the moment. Oh, actually, we are already at the end. Right, yeah. I really don't have much time to talk, but suffice to say, there's a composer for the series named Singer, who Falcom outsourced a lot of the music to in later installments, and there are some people who think his songs aren't, you know, as good as some of the songs from, like, earlier games, and, like, that's fine. If you don't like someone's music, that's okay. And, you know, if you're disappointed that later games have some songs that aren't as good as earlier games, like the soundtrack of the earlier Trails games is so ridiculously good that I can understand why people got this mad. Well, I could say I can understand why people got mad, but not so much this mad. The thing is that what people did, like, I kind of sum it up by a comment that I saw somewhere, which is that, like, yeah, you know, his music may not be as good as some of the rest in the series, but people act like he killed their dog or something. The sheer amount of bile, hatred, and vitriol for this one person, like, not just his music, people actually go after him and attack him as a human being. It's really disgusting. Strager O. Have you seen those chests from Erebonia? They're the strong. That's actually a repeated quote. I wouldn't be, like, Strager O really should be Estelle only, but it's actually not. So yeah, I won't go into it too much because, like, some of... Oh my god, some of the things that I've seen people say about him, like, I've seen people be less harsh towards actual criminals than some of the things that people have said towards Singer. It is insane. Like I've heard that people even doxed him and actually went after his family or things like that. It's just... One of the things about this series that one of the things about this fandom that, yeah, I can't really forgive or defend that about the fandom. But there's a sealing stone there. It's the last one. This is a very important sealing stone, and I will be using the voice patch for this one. Because I cannot do this moment justice just reading out the dialogue. But you know what? There's still the matter of Sundoor 4 that we haven't done yet. So, yep. I'm going to leave you in a bit of a cliffhanger here. We're going to be doing Sundoor 4 next, and then we're going to be getting the final sealing stone. And trust me, this one's very special. So, see you all then.